Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self. And today we are talking about how to trust your gut, learning to trust yourself. But before we get into that, I want to celebrate that we are fully now into season 4 of this show. And it just creates so much joy in my heart that this podcast has come this far and allowed me to serve all of you and provide you with researched and thought through advice and tips related to emotional and mental wellness and management, because I know that my true purpose in life is to teach people about mental health, about emotional health, about understanding that if you really dive in deep into self-awareness and understanding yourself better, then you will be able to master being able to manage your own emotions and, really go through the exercise of, response versus react, and understanding that all your emotions are important and are worthy of being acknowledged and, just understood, but not necessarily you have to take action on all these things. I know that this is my purpose in life. And so that's why when season 4 hit at the top of the year, because that's when my seasons go, they go from like regular calendar year, I just felt so much joy. And obviously, this couldn't have gotten this far without all of you listening and downloading and sharing the show. I am so absolutely privileged to have an audience that finds value in what I'm sharing. I feel the same way about anyone that follows me on socials too, because I love creating content for you guys to use to better your lives. I love it when I get emails from people that say that it benefited them, like whatever I was talking about on the podcast that day, or if they saw a video or they read a blog post that I write every once in a while. And not because it feeds my ego, but honestly, because it tells me that I am working in the things that I'm good at, that I was created to do. And it sparks so much more excitement in me. And I'm just so grateful. It's hard for me to find like the most appropriate words, which I think is hilarious because all I do is talk. And you would think I would know the words, but I wanted to let you know that, something this year changed and shifted for me before we really get into our topic today. Something this year changed and shifted for me. I started this year with the desire and the full-on purpose to bring everything I am doing to a full-time status. That is the goal. That is what I'm going for. I think before, when I started this podcast and I started even creating content online, I didn't think that was actually ever going to be a reality for me. And I didn't know if anyone actually was watching or listening or doing any of that. I did it out of this desire to know that I needed to do it. I knew people needed it, especially the podcast. I knew people needed it. And now here I am with this feeling and knowing that I have to push this full time. And so that means no longer working my day job. So if you didn't know, I do have a job that I do during the day. And, so it just means that I would no longer be doing that and putting all my time and effort into creating the best content that I can, still for free, of course, and taking more time to research and dive into deeper emotional and mental health topics and provide content more consistently so that you listening, anyone, or maybe even someone that's not listening yet, has the resource that you need when you need it. You can just go and search for that topic online or in your podcatcher and find the episode that I've created that I just pray that will actually really help you and, provide content more consistently so you have that resource. And I just say that again because it's so important to be more consistent than I am and continue to grow this community of people, all of you that are here to learn and understand and practice managing your emotions and your mindsets. It's just all so important. But, this shift hasn't happened yet. It's on the horizon, right? It's there. It's we're zooming towards there, right? But this full shift of going full time and doing all of this stuff online has not happened yet. But it can come quicker with a little help from anyone that has the desire and ability to contribute financially. And for the longest time, I put off really suggesting that I would need money or want money. And it's kind of uncomfortable for me. I had to even go over it with my husband today and with my therapist to really be like, I don't want people to be like upset that I'm asking for money, but it's not the money just for me to have, like, yeah, I'm not being like, yeah, please just give me money. No, it's towards the content, the purpose, the reason that I'm doing all this. It's to make it better. And I have never had the desire to put ads in this podcast to make money or monetize it in like a similar way, because I want this resource to be available to anyone that can listen to it and hopefully use it as a step in their personal healing process. And I don't want to put ads in because I don't want it to be this like weird, annoying thing where you might tune out, or for whatever reason, the ad that's placed in, if I just did it like with an automatic service, doesn't really fit the show and what we've like developed here. You know what I mean? I don't want anything weird like that to happen. That doesn't sound great at all. And, even if I was able to like, partner or be affiliated with someone and like share an ad online, like a live read ad where I just read it in the middle, like it's just, none of that really mattered to me, even though those opportunities are available for me. I wanted it to just be clean. I wanted it to be me talking to you, like we're besties, like I'm here to help because I am here to help, and to have it be the most authentic and genuine conversation on a podcast that I can have with you. And so, if you'd like to contribute to better, more deeply researched and presented topics here on the podcast, like an additional resources added to each episode, like an episode page where you will have like additional education, maybe even a longer blog post with all the points. And you know how like when I do give my tips, I say the tip and then I go into a deeper explanation of that. There's no way for me to actually put that in the show notes because there's only a certain finite amount of space for me to do that. And if I created like an episode page for every episode, I could add that in and you could have those extra resources to review and share with others if you wanted to. And maybe even like graphics you can save and worksheets to use, and all these other ideas that I have. So I just ask you to please consider donating to the show. You'd be supporting the ability to have more like emotional and mental health content and a more directed focus from me, of course, since I'm creating it all, on taking this podcast to like the next level. I've just kind of been sitting here, allowing it to coast, still making new content and making it better over time. Because if you go to listen to the first like 10 episodes versus any episodes in the last like month, they are significantly better. I can say that with a lot of like confidence and pride. But even more, like take it just like really bump it up to that next level. So I just encourage you, there is a link to check out my Patreon, and like the lowest level starts at $5 a month. And I think there's only 3 tiers for you to choose from, and each one comes with something that's like a special thing that I want to give you. And, I also have Cash App or Buy Me a Coffee. Those are ways to donate to the show. But, if none of those are something you want to do, no problem. No problem at all. Not at all. You can always help by sharing the show with someone else and suggesting they listen to whatever episode you think would be most helpful. And then I will just, let's hope that they just continue listening and finding value in the, education and tips and advice that I'm sharing. So thank you so much. I know we're at like minute marker, like 9 minutes now, but thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. If you did, if you didn't, and you're just now popping in to shift over to the episode and you've like fast forwarded, still no issues. I totally understand. So thank you for whatever decision you decide to make, whether to donate, share the show, or do nothing and just continue to listen. I'm grateful for any of it and all of it. And I genuinely am. So let's get into today's topic, which again is how to trust your gut, learning to trust yourself. So I used to have this bad habit of asking so many people for advice to figure out what I should do in life, like legit. And, small decisions, big decisions I for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, I could have made on my own if a 5-year-old could have made them on their own, but I just needed someone else's advice to know what to do. I craved it. That sounds nuts. That sounds so nuts to say out loud. But I had this like strong desire that I needed someone else to tell me whether the decision that I came up with myself was good enough. I needed them to like slap that, hey, yes, we want to check off on this kind of thing, on the decisions I made. Or I would like go to people and be like, tell me what I should do. Here's a scenario. Here are any extra pieces of data that you need to know. Let me know what I should do. And yes, let's clarify and let's just put it down that it was definitely a symptom of being a people pleaser, for sure. But it also was a lack of confidence and trust in myself, because obviously I was not trusting myself enough or confident to believe that I could come up with my own decisions and feel good about it, right? And it's funny that I say that though, because even now I'll make decisions and I won't feel good about them, but I'll still make them, right? It's just like, well, based upon what we know now and what I believe will happen in the future, let's make this decision, right? But yeah, it's this lack of confidence and trust in myself. It's also an offshoot of external validation, that desperate need for that sometimes we can be addicted to. And, if you want to learn more about letting go of the need for external validation, which is very, very important for us all to figure out how to let that one go, I encourage you to listen to episode 367 of the podcast, because it's like the perfect jumpstart for that. And I do have confidence in saying that for sure. But, when we rely on others to validate us, we learn to not trust ourselves. We learn to dismiss your own like gut feelings and trust whatever other people say because it just feels safer, It also feels like more reliable coming from people. And, despite the fact that, you're feeling like what they are saying is more reliable from these people that we allow to pass judgment on us and whose opinions, we allow to control us. Like, for reals. And yes, I know that might have come off a little strong, but let's not pretend we aren't leaning in the wrong direction sometimes, okay? There's no reason to lie or, pretend with yourself. You're not going to learn or grow or be able to get to that next level in your journey of becoming your best self if you aren't just like straight and honest with yourself. And maybe more than sometimes for some of us in regards to leaning in the wrong direction, really, seeking that external validation and needing people to sign off on the decisions that we're making in life, right? And regardless, of whatever it is for you, let's acknowledge like what is actually true, if we're struggling with this, if we're not, and at like what level, and move forward in doing what is necessary to become our best selves in this moment, right? Because how we become our best selves in this moment is going to be way different than how we used to do it even 2 weeks ago, than how we will do it 7 days from now, because it's all based on what you're going through right now, the experiences that you're currently dealing with. And, we may think that life will stay the same over the next 7 days, but we have no idea. I would say that 7 days ago from today for me was drastically different than what I am experiencing today. It's incredible, and it's important to remember that. So just really acknowledge, okay, this is the struggle I'm having. This is how hard it is for me to let go of this. Let's figure out what we need to do to move forward. And, I want to acknowledge the fact that, you might think it's easier to just rely on others to lead you in the right direction and trust in what they say you should do. And you're right. You're right. It is easier. It's so much easier. But it also comes with other issues that are caused at the same time as you just taking this easy route. Because the more that you rely on others to decide things for you, the less you'll rely on yourself to make decisions. And the harder it will be to turn that train around. It was so difficult. It's like trying to climb out of like the deepest hole that you've ever dug, right? It's going to take a lot of effort, and especially, upper body effort. I have way more effort in my legs than I do in my upper body. So it would take so much in me, to get back to trusting yourself, to return to a mindset that is actually okay with taking a chance on your own gut and instinct and accepting the possibility that, well, some of you aren't going to like this, but accepting the possibility that a mistake or a failure might occur and just knowing that that probably will happen. I was trying to think of like a percentage, but I'm just saying, let's just assume that, like, I don't like to assume anything, but we can safely assume that mistakes and failures will happen because they will. Life is not meant to be easy. Life is meant for us to continually grow season to season and continually become our best self in that season, in that moment, not just like stay stagnant for our whole entire lives. That sounds boring as heck, guys. We're supposed to be here to build ourselves up, build other people up, enjoy our lives, share God with everyone that we can, and really, again, become our best selves. So, learning to trust yourself, it's so integral to making decisions easier. And this is what we're talking about today, like learning to trust yourself. So it'll make it easier to make decisions. It will help to build up your own confidence and even end up being even more trusted by others. Because, when others see the trust that you have in yourself, it exudes this confidence and belief in what you're doing, right? And since you're not questioning it, they don't feel the need to question it. You're not over here like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's ask like 10 people what they think and kind of like contemplate like what the best decision was and what the best input was and yada, yada, yada. And people are like, they don't seem very unsure. They seem very scatterbrained and it seems very chaotic. I don't think I can trust them. But when you are able to trust yourself, you are exuding with a D, not a B, exuding so much confidence that you got this. Even if it turns out to be a dumpster fire, you had the confidence, you trusted yourself, they're going to trust you. And that's great. It's amazing. It's magical even, I would say. So just consider that, right? It's so integral, especially decision making. And, I almost like was writing about how when you do trust yourself more, it can kind of ease decision fatigue, but not completely where it would like go away. Because people that struggle with decision fatigue generally are making a lot of decisions and they have yet found the opportunity to offboard some of those decisions to someone else to, really just reassign those things and just feel overwhelmed with that. But if you are able to feel confident in the decisions that you are making, it can come back on the feelings of decision fatigue. So if you or someone struggles with that, just understand that it could help a little bit, but it's not going to just wipe it off the map. That's absolutely not going to happen. But yeah, self-trust also leads to stronger self-understanding. We can better understand the reasons we do certain things and become more honest with ourselves in what we're struggling with and what needs to happen next to become better, become that best self for that moment. And, it's just think about it just as someone else decides to be vulnerable and transparent and honest with you about something, leading to more trust because they're being their authentic self. And you're like, oh, okay, you're genuine. It works the same way with ourselves. If we're being more vulnerable and transparent with ourselves, we're being our genuine self, then we're more willing to trust what our thoughts and our instincts are. Even if it turns out to be incorrect, that trust was still there. We believed in the cause and we followed through. And if it didn't work out, we will learn something from it. Absolutely. And that'll be absolutely amazing. So, it's a self-awareness. I feel like I haven't really talked deeply about self-awareness lately. Maybe I have. Let me know. But it's the self-awareness that starts to question why we are fearful and discover what insecurities are getting in our way that will help us grow and start to trust ourselves more. And that's so darn important. Plus, think about this really quick before we jump into the tips is what happens if you decide to move somewhere where you don't know anyone? And so you're running around like, crazy chicken, sky is falling, and you don't have anyone to ask. Maybe you're going to ask people online. Maybe you're going to call all your friends and family that were left behind, and I don't mean it in a negative way. They're just not there where you are. And you're going to try to describe to them decisions that you have to make and things that you want to do. And it won't be as easy for them to relate because they're not there with you. They haven't been through the experience or able to be close enough to understand. It'd be like asking someone, hey, I just, dropped into Chicago, I don't know where to live. You call your friend that lives back in Cali and you're like, oh, I need you to make this decision on where I should live. And they're like, I've never been there. I could not make that decision. So it's just so important in trusting yourself to do the work, do the research, find the people you need to talk to, make it happen, Captain, and just do what you need to do to trust in yourself, to believe, and to follow through what needs to happen and not constantly questioning yourself and then nothing happens. It's like the ultimate procrastination without you even realizing it, right? So today I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to start trusting yourself. But as always, before I share these tips, I want to let you know that these tips and advice is based on my own research and experience and the experiences of others that I am allowed to share. And if you feel like what I'm about to share with you does not align with what you believe will work best for you in learning how to start trusting yourself, I totally think that's awesome that you've come to that realization. And I encourage you to chat with a therapist or a counselor that can help you figure out what actually would align with you to start trusting yourself. And if you feel like that's not going to work for you either, totally fine. Hop on over to our best friend, Google, and type in how to start trusting yourself or how to build self-trust. And you'll come up with so many articles, posts, all these things that can help you if you would prefer. But let's go ahead and jump into our 5 tips on how to start trusting yourself so we can get to the nitty-gritty things that you can do today. So number 1 is to abide by your personal boundaries. Abide by your personal boundaries. Side note, anytime I say abide or I think of that word, I literally think of the dude from, oh man, what's that movie? I literally just had it in my mind with the dude and he wears a robe and he goes on this crazy, what it feels like a crazy adventure. Okay, that might pop back into my mind later, but I feel like at least 50% of you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then literally Google the dude and abide by the dude. Okay, anyway, we're coming back. Abide by your personal boundaries. So think about this. Let's be straight with you. You create boundaries for a reason. You create boundaries for a reason. So stick to these, right? Don't allow someone else to talk you out of having boundaries. And don't doubt the reason you establish these guidelines either. You have to trust you know how to keep yourself safe. And by abiding by personal boundaries, also if you just heard a sneeze, that was my Doge sneezing. But also by abiding by your personal boundaries, this is going to help you trust yourself more because you are doing what you believe is right to keep yourself safe. And that's the point of boundaries, is really to keep you safe from you allowing yourself to be taken advantage of or manipulated. And you know what would be good for you. Just as boundaries can change season to season, you know what's good for you right now. You've created those boundaries and you need to stick to them. You don't want to allow people to kind of run over you and be like, oh, I don't think you need those because of this reason, right? And so you'll be able to trust yourself more because you're abiding by those things, even if it's more difficult and causes some drama sometimes. But it's really on the other person, especially if you are explaining and detailing what's going on and why. So abide by your personal boundaries. Number 2 is to validate your own feelings and needs. Validate your own feelings and needs. So you don't need someone else to approve how you're feeling or what you believe you need, right? You don't need that stamp of approval. You don't. I promise you, 110%, 100 million percent, plus 10%. You don't need that. You don't. You just decide. And think about this. Think about the fact that there are people that you probably know that don't need that approval. And if you have thought about that, think about it and then ask yourself, okay, well, why don't they need the approval? But I feel like I need the approval. You don't. You don't. It's either someone told you needed the approval or you felt like you needed it and it just happened, right? So you don't need that. You don't need it for how you're feeling and for someone to tell you, yeah, you're allowed to feel sad right now. No, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. I just have to say it. It's stupid for someone to be like, no, you can't feel that way right now. No, feel however you want, okay? It's your emotions. And even if it turns out what you thought you needed wasn't exactly correct, the same thing still stands, right? Trust that the emotions happening inside you are real and that they are worthy, which they are, of being acknowledged and understood. They are. They are worth being honored and acknowledged and understood as they are. And it doesn't mean that you have to take action on them. You just need to acknowledge them and honor them, okay? So trust those emotions that are happening inside you. Know that they are worthy. And no one should be telling you like anything about what you need or how you're feeling because they aren't you. They don't know. They might feel like they know you, but they don't really know you because we're not telling everyone the inner workings of our mind all of the time. They don't know the trauma and the experiences that we've gone through or how those have deeply affected us. And maybe we have shared the surface level stress and experience of that. I'm just saying they aren't you. They don't know what's going on inside. So you need to spend time validating your own feelings and needs, and this will breed trust in yourself because you're allowing yourself to trust the fact that you are sad right now, and that is okay, even if other people aren't feeling sad, because not everything needs to be a mirror for you to look and see, like, does it match up? No, you don't need that. So validate your own feelings and needs. Number 3, let go of what or who doesn't serve you or harms you. Let go of what or who doesn't serve you or harms you. So this one was really important. I mean, they're all important, but this one was really important because I feel like we tend to hang on to these things and these people because it's what we know. It's the experience that we were used to. And despite how much it may hurt, how painful it is, we still do it because we know it. We know it's going to happen. We don't have to be living out in fear of like what's going to transpire now. It's just what we're used to, which is really sad, but it's true. You got people in your life, like think about it, like ask yourself, do you have people in your life that only bring you their problems? They're not bringing any sunshine, no silver linings, not even asking like, how are you doing? What are you going through? No, they're only bringing you problems. If that is the case, reconsider the depth and existence of those relationships. It just is. It just is what it is. Okay? They might not be good friends for you right now in this season. They could be down the line. Or you could just be like, we're done here. It's up to you. You have to make that call. But just really consider that you might need to reconsider the depth and existence of those relationships. Or do you have tons of clutter taking over your living space? Let go of the things you don't and won't use in the next year. I was going to do 6 months and I was like, no, because I don't want anyone to be like, oh my gosh, Sabrina told me to get rid of all of my fall and Christmas decor because I wasn't going to use it in the next 6 months. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't throw that away. Especially vintage Christmas decor. No. You either keep that forever and pass it on to whoever's next, or you like sell it for a high price online. Please don't do anything else. I'm just saying. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But yeah, let go. Let go of what doesn't serve you and what's harming you. Let go of those things. Limit the nostalgia to what you can truly manage. What can you truly manage? And meaning like, are you taking up your whole garage with nostalgic things that you really don't need and you'll never use again? It helps me, it pushes me to reflect on any time we've moved and moving this same like tub of my husband's like trophies and wall plaques and things of sports he did growing up. And I'm like, you're not even displaying these. Why do we have these? Or that bucket of t-shirts that he's had since like middle school, yet he doesn't wear them. And he has this dream and vision of like creating those t-shirts into something, yet it's not happened. It's just like, you're taking up so much space in the garage. So just think about that. Like, let go of the things you don't use, you won't use in the next year, because maybe the next year you can afford to buy it again if it is something you need, but most likely not, especially if you haven't used it in the last year. Okay? Are you like involved in groups and activities that cause headaches or drama or some other type of like mental, emotional, physical pain? That's a no-brainer. Move on from it. Okay? Someone's causing pain, right? You don't want to be involved in that. That's just not where you should be. Move it on. Move it. Keep it moving. It's probably not worth your time. I'm willing to bet on that. Have the guts and confidence to know and acknowledge what is best for you and follow through with actions that demonstrate that belief. Okay? Don't be all talk. Say what you mean. Say what you mean, but have the guts and confidence to just admit that, acknowledge it, do you the way you need to do it, and let us see that with those actions, okay? Number 4, we're almost there, friends. Number 4, reflect on times you have trusted yourself. Reflect on times you have trusted yourself. This is like a classic way to have a tip because it's really just asking you to reflect on a time where this thing worked out that you are scared that did not. And that could be for anything. It's like reflect on a time where you were able to come down from your anxiety attack or panic attack. Reflect on a time where you were able to control yourself and not binge eat or eat out of boredom. Or, reflect on a time that you were able to be really nice to someone that has done you dirty and hurt you, right? And so it's a classic way to phrase something. But I do want you to reflect on the times that you have trusted yourself. There has to be. I even put has to be like capital letters. There has to be time in the past you did trust your own thoughts and decisions, and it worked out fine. There has to be a time because we've all had that moment. And even if it was what feels like a million years ago, you still had it. I'm not saying that everything went well either, but you're here to tell the tale, and that's all that matters. And you probably learned something too. So really take some time to reflect on, okay, when did I trust myself last? How did that feel? What was the actual experience? How did that transpire? Did I still feel good a week later after it? Yeah, probably. Or maybe not, right? So really ask yourself that last time that you felt that way and how you believe you got to that feeling and see if you can replicate it and try that, And you could also ask others how they find it possible to trust themselves too. And just so you know, trusting yourself and not relying on the external validation of other people to make your decisions for you, that doesn't mean that you never ask people for help and you never get feedback on like maybe what you should do and that decisions that's coming up. You just don't do it all of the time. You have the boundary to not do that, and you have the determination and the focus to figure it out on your own. So reflect on times you have trusted yourself in the past and ask other people how they feel like they're able to do it, especially if they have some sort of really high-stress job where they make lots of decisions all the time. Ask them how they do it. That could be really helpful too. Okay, number 5 and the last one that I have to share with you today is learn from mistakes and failures. Ha, classic. I say this all the time. Learn from mistakes and failures. Was this a cop-out? No, I genuinely went looking around the internet and reading books and trying to consider and even thinking deeply okay, what would be another really good tip? And nothing was better than this one. Nothing was. Not my perspective. For learning how to trust yourself, no, you have to learn from your mistakes and failures because you won't trust yourself if you think that mistakes and failures are bad. And so you'll hide in your little comfort zone forever and do nothing because you've had that experience once where you did have a mistake and you did fail and you think that the world is on fire, that everything is wrong, right? But mistakes and failures are the best learning lessons. I literally say that all of the time. And this again points to building trust in yourself because instead of dwelling on what didn't go right or as you had planned, use that as an opportunity for growth, right? If you fail at an opportunity to snag a house that you want or secure a loan for a business or fail at a test that you had to take, right? Don't dwell on how you're not good enough and you are not smart enough and this, that, and the other and putting yourself down. Don't do that. Instead, look at it as an opportunity for growth. Okay, well, what can I do next time? What did I learn from this situation? Did I have the appropriate help that I needed? Did I have the support that would be best for me? Ask yourself these questions, really figure out how can I grow from this experience? What knowledge am I taking from me, taking with me from this experience? and then being able to let everything else go and move on, right? You can't allow these experiences to instill fear in you, but rather push yourself further or in a new direction to see what you can do next, right? Don't hold yourself hostage with constantly putting shame on yourself that mistakes and failures are the worst. And I can't believe I have been identified as doing that because, there was an instance of a mistake or a failure. So don't allow these experiences to put you into any fear. Use them actually as an empowering experience that you were able to do that. It didn't work out. You can try again, or you can try something totally different. And it's so good. It's so good. Even though I will go through mistakes and failures and feel like crap and feel really upset, but I'm able to bounce back a lot quicker because I've been taking the time to learn and figure out how to manage my mindset the best. And that's what I hope that you're learning here today too. But that's all 5 tips I have for you today on how to start trusting yourself, which please do. Exude that confidence and excitement and joy that you know what's going on and you can be helpful to others if necessary. But that's it. So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I do appreciate anyone that will listen at the top of the show where I was just sharing about my excitement and how we are now officially in season 4 of the podcast and how I couldn't have gotten this far without any of you at all, and how I greatly hope that some of you decide to contribute financially towards more content, more deeper researched shows, extra episode website content, and just more, just to the cause of giving you more from this podcast. I appreciate it. But check the show notes below for notes for the show and actual links, and also how to find me on socials and send an email and sign up for the weekly newsletter that actually went out yesterday. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.